everyone, it's TJ. IELTS Life Skills is an English test approved by UK Visa and Immigration as a secure English language test and available at 3 levels, A1, A2 and B1 levels. But keep in mind, IELTS Life Skills at A2 level is offered only in the UK. This video lesson is intended for those students who are at basic level of English and preparing for IELTS Life Skills test at A1 level. So in this lesson, I will be going through each part of the test with a brief overview, and I will try to give you some tips to improve your test performance as I go along. So let's start. IELTS Life Skills A1 is intended for those people who are applying to UK Visa and Immigration for a family of a settled person visa. Mainly, the test only tries to cover your speaking and listening skills and lasts for 16 to 18 minutes. So there will be 2 candidates who will be taking the test together with an examiner, and the examiner will be judging them based on their performance in each part of the test. Also, the tasks in the test are based on everyday subjects such as work, transport and the weather, which reflect the experience of communicating in an English-speaking country. You will be assessed on your ability in 4 key areas: obtaining information, conveying information, speaking to communicate, and engaging in discussion. Also, during the test, when you move on to 1B and 2A section of the test, you will be allowed to take notes to prepare your answer. In section 1B, you will be given 1.5 minutes to take notes to prepare your answers for the given topic. In the section 2A, you can make notes on paper while you listen to the CD. The examiner will not mark your notes, only your speaking and listening skills are marked. So it is always a good idea to prepare your answers during this time, because it gives you the chance to make plans for what you are going to do next. So make the best use of your time and notes. Also, don't worry about your grammar, because you are more likely to get stuck while you are speaking and thinking about grammatical structures at the same time. So just try to make sure that you are making your meaning clear, and as long as you are doing this, you don't need to worry about your grammar. Then again, if you are familiar with 3 simple tenses, namely present simple, past simple and future simple, you are more likely to do well in the exam. So you need to learn how you can make questions and response using these 3 simple tenses before the real exam. Although most of the tasks in the test are based on everyday subjects and tries to test your knowledge of communication skills. So learning only to ask and respond to present simple tense may seem enough sometimes. Also, you need to have basic ideas of the prepositions such as at, in and on to make your speaking skills more meaningful. These are the grammar areas that you should be studying at A1 level. In this part, the examiner asks you and your partner some simple questions about yourself. In the beginning, the examiner will introduce him or herself and ask 3 simple questions to each candidate. What's your name? Can you spell it for me? Where do you come from? These questions are the same in every IELTS Life Skills A1 test. Then the examiner asks you and your partner some questions about 1 or 2 simple topics. For example, food or your friends. Sometimes the examiner will ask you about one topic, then ask your partner about a different topic. Sometimes the examiner will do the opposite. So pay attention to the topic and WH questions words, because if you mishear any of them, you will probably end up giving a wrong answer. So be careful. Also, try to give a positive reply always. It gives a chance to show your level of English and your communication skills. Even when you don't know the answer, it is always better to attempt an answer than simply say nothing at all. Because you must keep in mind that the main thing is to show your speaking ability. So you can even give a positive response to something which is not real or true. You don't need to speak perfect English, just make sure that people can understand you. So speak clearly and try to give as much information as you can, but don't stray from the topic. Besides, it is better to use contractions like I don't instead of using I do not, because this test is meant to reflect the experience of communicating in an English-speaking country. Most importantly, try to relax during the exam, because being nervous can actually ruin your test performance. And if you ever make a mistake when you say a word, try to say it again. In this part of the test, the examiner gives you and your partner two different topics. First, you are going to have 1.5 minutes to prepare your questions. So it is extremely important for you to make the best use of the time that you will get for making notes, because it will take the pressure off you and you will be more confident to make response and ask questions on the given topic, as you have already planned your ideas to deal with this situation. Also, when you ask questions, look at your partner and try to maintain eye contact while having a conversation, instead of looking at your notes only. If you do not understand your partner's questions, simply say, "I'm sorry, I don't understand," or "Can you repeat that please?" However, if your partner does not understand your questions, try to say it again in a different way. Even you could use some phrases like "that's interesting" or "that's good" in response, as a way of showing the examiner that you are paying attention to what the other candidate is saying. Besides, if you make a mistake in the question, start the question again. Otherwise, the examiner would think you are unaware of your mistake. Also, you must avoid giving short answers and saying the same thing again and again. And when you ask questions, try to use WH questions words like what, where, and who, instead of using only the auxiliary verbs like do, does, or are. Because if you ask questions only for yes and no answers, then you will not be able to show your real English level, and you will have less time to prepare yourself for the next question, as the other candidate will respond instantly to this type of questions. So make sure you have already learned the skills of making questions before the test. In this part of the test, you listen to 2 short recordings on a CD and answer some questions. First, examiner hand each candidate the booklet and play the CD. When the recording stops, the examiner asks you and your partner 1 questions about one of the recordings. You have to choose 1 answer from the 3 possible answers given in the booklet. Then you listen to the recordings again and answer 2 questions about the other recording. Don't forget to write the answer as soon as you hear it. The examiner will not look at your notes. Also keep in mind that you do not need to answer the questions in sentences. You can answer with 1 or 2 words that respond to the question. If you do not understand the question, just ask the examiner to repeat them. Remember, the examiner will ask you 3 questions. Your first question is about 1 recording, then 2 more questions on the other recording. But don't worry, the examiner will tell you which recording to listen to. If you are not sure, ask the examiner. So only listen for the answers to your question. But you don't have to understand every word. Listen for the important words and key information to get the meaning. These words are nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Also, make sure you can understand times and dates easily and quickly, particularly in British accent, because these are more likely to appear as answers in this part of the test. More importantly, don't look at the examiner or your partner. Just try not to worry, breathe slowly, and stay calm. In this part, the examiner gives you and your partner a topic, for example, learning new things, and you have a conversation about this topic together. Keep in mind that the theme of the topic will be related to what you have listened to on the CD. Usually, the examiner would indicate the person who he or she thinks should start this activity. If it doesn't happen, you can ask your partner, "Shall I start, or do you want to start this conversation?" Try to make this part of the test like a normal conversation. So look at your partner when you are talking to them. Also listen to your partner and reply to what they say. Don't think about what to say next when you are talking to them, because this may distract you. But if your partner is speaking too much, say, "Excuse me, can I speak now?" If your partner is finding it difficult to answer and respond, try to help your partner by asking simple questions, because it is very important to keep the conversation going. But be careful. Don't stray from the topic when you try to keep the conversation going. If you and your partner can't think of anything to say, the examiner will ask questions to help you. Also, you could use some phrases like "well, you see," and "now let me think," if you need time to think in a conversation. Even if you stop for a while, it is better than asking wrong question. Most importantly, make sure you have learned the way to express your opinions and ask for opinions in English before the exam. Test results are normally available within 7 days of your test. You will get one of two results, pass or fail. Also, it is a good idea to take as many practice tests as you can, because practice tests are an essential part of preparation. They give learners a clear idea of exactly what will happen during their test. However, in order for the practice test to be as useful as possible, it is very important for you to take the test in a condition which recreate the test-like environment as much as possible. So good luck in your exam.